Jordan Whittington is clearly ready to break out onto the scene. It's been a quiet year for 88, however, he is starting to get playing time. He was a starter against the Eagles. He's clearly favored by the coaching staff to be on the field as a role player, excel as a blocker. However, is it time to finally start using Jordan Whittington as a legitimate offensive weapon? I believe it is, and we'll get into it. Before we do, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan, including Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Kick, and Twitch. And in addition to that, just want to remind you guys that today's sponsor is Sleeper, and the NFL season is here, which means you have a chance to 100x your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick on stats like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to 100x payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you could win big. So use my code JKB, and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Be sure to hit the description below. You can find the link, and of course, use that code JKB to get hooked up with a $100 match on your first deposit. So, Jordan Whittington last year had 18 targets in Week 4 and Week 5 with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp on the Pine. He caught 13 passes in those games for 151 yards, and he showed inside-outside ability to win in the slot or find a way to win on the outside against some really good boundary corners. Whittington finished his rookie season with 86 yards on 3 catches in Week 18 and a catch for 12 yards on what could have been the final game-winning drive in Philadelphia in the playoffs. Whittington this year has 4 targets and has caught all 4 for 49 yards, including a 40-yard explosive play. He's also carried the ball 3 times for 12 yards on gadget plays and returned 2 kicks for 60, not including the fact he had a 74-yard return that was called back. Clearly, he has the dynamism in his game, and clearly he can help the Rams win football games. But the question is, why has he been so limited in the first 3 games of the season? See, this is where the idea of the Rams losing the Eagles and actually making them better because they lost, in actuality, there's some realism here. There's a reason for this, okay? The hope is it's going to force Sean McVay to go back at the film, look and really take away the overutilization of some players and the underutilization of some players and realize that he needs to get some other guys involved. I did just do a video on Tutu Atwell being one of those guys, but the big one here is 88, Jordan Whittington. He can do it all. He's not getting the ball. He's pretty limited in what he can do if he doesn't get the ball. So I have a good feeling he's about to get a significant boost in targets and is in a way better position than Tutu Atwell, but it's time for the Rams to start showing it this week against the Colts. To me, this is Jordan Whittington week. Why? Because while Puka Nacua does line up in the slot, and so does Davante Adams here and there, Jordan Whittington is likely going to be your starting slot receiver for this game, just like he was against the Eagles. However, this week, Jordan Whittington gets to go up against the Kenny Moore-less Eagles. And before you ask who he is, if you don't know, Kenny Moore is one of the best nickel corners in the league. So this is a game where you can utilize Whittington on a level you haven't been able to before. And to me, I just think it's more so about the offense right now. Just think what this offense could be if you have the Rams get Jordan Whittington going in the passing game. You would have arguably the best receiver in the game in Puka Nacua, one of the best receivers to ever play the game in Davante Adams, and then you would have an inside-outside threat, the versatility that can stay on the field every single play to block. He can make plays in the passing game. He can make plays in the running game. Of course, gadget opportunities. The Rams are going to run more 12 personnel, as they should, right? Means they're going to have 2 tight ends. However, their 11 personnel set, there's no reason Jordan Whittington shouldn't be on the field the majority of this game. And when he's on the field, getting a decent amount of targets to boot. The thing that's holding the Rams offense back right now is definitely their pass protection. The second thing is their diversification of targets through 3 games. I've watched every game on film, and I'll tell you right now, this game in particular really stood out to me. I saw a quarterback in Matthew Stafford that was missing layup throws. Missing throws he never misses. But I also saw, once again, force-feeding the two stars, and rightfully so. Nacua and Adams are amazing. However, you want it to be a natural occurrence. Forcing the targets to Davante Adams is not the way to use Davante Adams. So, with that said, the proof is in the pudding. Puka Nacua leads the team with 35 targets. Davante Adams has 28 targets. Here's the deal with Puka Nacua, though. Nacua is catching everything. Davante Adams is not. He has only a 46.4 reception percentage. And next in targets is Kyren Williams, the running back, who also hasn't been utilized enough in the passing game. He has 6. Then Tyler Higbee with 5. And then Jordan Whittington is tied with Davis Allen with 4. So keep in mind, the Rams' third receiver, whether it's Whittington or Atwell, have only gotten 7 targets. That is 1 more than their running back, Kyren Williams. How can you expect defenses to not key in on Puka Nacua and Davante Adams when you have shown no ability to focus on the third receiver? It's like play action if you've never run the football. I say that all the time. It's not going to work. Again, I also say this all the time, but it's true. You have to put in a resume for defenses to respect. If they know you aren't going to throw to 88 and they know you aren't going to throw to 5, then they're not going to bother even looking their way because they know you're going to 12 or 17. The reality is this. The Rams need to utilize Tutu Atwell more, and they have to utilize Jordan Whittington more. But it's not just giving them snaps. The snap count's fine. They're basically on a timeshare, although Whittington plays a little bit more in terms of just all around because he's a better blocker. But when they're on the field, they shouldn't be getting 1 or 2 targets a game. There needs to be more of a diversification in the passing game. Is this on Stafford to a degree? Maybe. Is this on Sean McVay to a degree? Probably. But the point being is I don't care who's to blame. The results speak for themselves. Take this loss and learn from it. And the best way to learn from it is to go through and realize that you have targeted your best receivers at a crazy rate. And while that makes a lot of sense, it also doesn't, because honestly, you're putting way too much pressure on these guys way too early on in the season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But in addition to that, it's the wear and tear, but also it's the fact that now you're not putting out film for other teams to study and be like, oh, we got to key in on 88. We got to key in on 5. Because if they key in on 88, if you get it to the point where Whittington is an 800-yard receiver around where Van Jefferson was, now he's a threat. Now when he's out there, you know Matthew Stafford can throw that football to him. When you get Tutu Atwell out there, he's a threat. The biggest thing that I would take away is that Jordan Whittington and Tutu Atwell at this point in the season last year, right? Not Whittington, but Atwell. Atwell had a 90-plus yard game against the 49ers in week 3. This past week, he had 1 target, 0 catches. And Jordan Whittington, as I mentioned earlier, had 18 targets in those 2 games, week 4 and week 5. So right after that. And in those games, he caught 13 passes for 151 yards. And then he played week 18 and he caught 3 of 4 for 86 yards. And both of these guys were not utilized in the postseason game against the Eagles, ironically, until the final drive when you had to get first downs, you had to get conversions, and both guys caught passes on that final drive. Sean McVay has to do a better job. Matthew Stafford has to do a better job of diversifying where the football's going. I know there's only one football. We know that. But right now, it's not just these guys. It's the lack of usage in the tight end room when you're running 12 personnel. That is the issue. The Rams shouldn't be one-dimensional. They have so many weapons. But unfortunately, they've been a little one-dimensional in the passing game. And by a little, I'm being nice. 35 targets, Nacua. 28 targets, Adams. 6 targets, Kyren. Those are your 3 leading targets for the season. That has to change. And it starts with Jordan Whittington and Tutu Atwell. So I think Jordan Whittington, once they let him go, he is going to explode. because he has the skill set to absolutely blow up in this league and be a 1,000-yard receiver, and it's time for the Rams to actually let him unlock that. Those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comments section below what you guys think. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Follow me on all social media at JKBogan, and check out today's sponsor, of course, Sleeper, code JKB, link in the description below. I'm out. I'll see you guys soon. Later, folks.